Ladies and gents, welcome back to Podcast Badly, where Judd doesn't know that I've already started. There we go. Here's intro music. Let's hear it. How was your big poo that you just did, Judd?
It was alright. It kind of did like a weird thing where like my arsehole just kind of like pumped it out, like just went like straight out.
Ooh. Is
Like-
that because of all the beer and stuff from the weekend?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I had a crate of beer last night, and I did some weird poos this morning.
Yeah, they're not nice.
It's always weird. I like to get them over and done with because I don't want them to sneak up on me later through the day.
Yeah.
And like,
I know this isn't prime podcast content, but I need you to do something for me.
what is it?
You ready? You ready?
What is it?
You need to let me challenge you to a game on Hearthstone so I can earn some dosh.
I'm not doing that right now.
You can do it right now. We don't
can.
even have to play a full game.
Okay, I'll do it, but we can still need to talk podcast-like.
Yes. Podcast.
I'm gonna
talk.
sneeze.
Let me
Hold
see
on.
how I want to.
Let me sneeze. I'm getting ready.
I'm gonna.
I did it.
I'm gonna see what this stuff smells like on stream that I have to cover myself in.
This Judd's talking about the ointment that the doctor gave
Yeah.
him if you didn't listen to the last podcast.
Yeah. I've got a piercer here.
He's he's gonna sniff this weird infection infection ointment.
Wait, let me get some on my finger and smell it. Oh, that's fine actually. I thought it smelled gross. You know, I just had a feeling that I'm like, because I have to cover myself in it. I was like,
Yeah.
well, the thing here, the L meme that the doctor's going to be giggling about is that it stinks like shit. But that's fine. It's all right. I can do that. I'm putting some on now. Look, there we go. Scabies cured.
Judd, you've asked me to go on Hearthstone, and you're not even challenging me on it.
I didn't see. I was being funny. I didn't see you come on.
I was being a ha-ha man. Speaking of
Wait.
ha-ha man, you enjoyed that Greg Davis Netflix special, didn't you?
He's incredibly funny. I love that man. He's awesome.
He is really, really funny.
Can I just say something really quick?
What?
I put that on where I was itching. It's already stopped.
Oh, well, you killed him.
Scabies cured. Cure achieved.
I'm interested as to like how you can want to be drinking tonight after the weekend we had.
Because I got mites burying the way in my flesh. And
You're just trying to drown them out.
I'm just trying to. Yeah. Do you not think that could work? Like if I got myself drunk
Jesus
enough.
Christ. No,
No.
definitely not.
Would not the alcohol in my blood be enough to kill them off?
No,
because
they're not swimming in your blood.
Well, they'll be
They're
getting
beneath your
into it,
skin.
don't want it?
No.
Yeah.
No, shut up.
Do you not
Pissing me
reckon
off
that-
now.
Do you not reckon they're deep enough to be like?
No.
Do you not reckon they're swimming their way through to the main artery? Do you not reckon they're going down it like rapids in Centre Park?
You piss me off, you. I don't know why. Every time I open Hearthstone, it decides to go over the top of our faces, even though I've not got any source that's to do with
Oh, I
Hearthstone.
thought you meant that the innkeeper's really over the top way how he welcomes you. Hello there, welcome back.
No. So this podcast is just going to randomly have, if people are watching it on YouTube, for some reason it's randomly just going to have Hearthstone gameplay in the background.
Nice.
What are you drinking, Judd?
Copperberg.
You're copping a berg.
It says on it 100% mite free. So I was like, yeah,
God.
some of that. I'll have some of that.
What did you think of the weekend?
It was good. I really enjoyed myself.
Which was your? Did you particularly care about any of the music or anything like that?
I thought the metal band was okay. The one I probably liked the most was I'm not sure. I'm finding it hard to like remember anybody. I missed your set, didn't I, Jake?
Oh yeah, tell a story of missing my my band's set this weekend.
Well,
Literally,
just
we advertised it before on the podcast and everything.
yeah, you did, yeah. It's my fault.
You did.
It's
You even promoted it.
no, it was completely my fault. I was supposed to get up to go see Jake's band perform, and I was like, right, I got to be there for the gig at 1 in the afternoon, and I woke up and it was 10 to 1 in the afternoon.
And he didn't even think to set an alarm.
No,
It's you're ridiculous, you.
no, I didn't set an alarm or anything. I got up and I'm like, fuck. So I just got on the bus and then the bus hit a load of traffic. And by the time that I got there, I don't know if you'd already finished or you just finished.
We'd just
But
finished. Like
yeah.
we were literally taking the gear out of the venue, because there's people like
taking out
on
some
straight
gear.
after and oh, God. Sometimes I like really hate you.
Yeah, me too. Even the mites in my skin were like, I fucking hate this guy.
Do you know what I especially hate? The fact
What?
that you play bullshit Hearthstone decks, you.
Yeah, me too. I hate that. I hate that I have to do that.
You do have to do it.
I'm a necessary evil, Jake.
D-
I am
if I
inevitable.
can I just let you win on Hearthstone? Do you think?
Well, I'm about to win anyway, so just don't leave, just so we can make sure. Don't leave.
Don't leave me.
um, just so that we can make sure that we actually get this quest done and we earn the reward. 'Cause, we might as well.
We need more podcast topics, Stuart. I've run out of things. This is what happens
Podcast,
when I.
podcast,
This is what happens when I
podcast.
don't make a list of topics to talk about on the podcast.
I need to make a list of stuff to talk about just in general, like
Just in
when
life.
I'm walking about. Like I have a load of flashcards like, how are you? How's your day? How's your family? I've got mites, don't touch me.
Have you seen any good movies recently? How's Chernobyl been? People have been
Chernobyl's fucking
interested in that.
awesome.
Walk me through it, because I'm pretty certain that I'm never gonna watch it because it's not my thing.
It's just so it starts off, and the way it starts off is awesome because like you know what's gonna happen, don't you? I mean, anybody who knows about the Chernobyl accident.
Is it like a drama
what's gonna
type
happen.
show, or is it?
Yeah, it's a dramatization of the whole thing, but it's at the same time kind of like a documentary. It's not a documentary in the sense that somebody's explaining what happened, but it's all being acted out, but it's dramatized. So, but it's not
It's like
over the
based
top
on a
or
true story.
yeah. In fact, if anything, it's tamed down because what they wanted to do is they wanted to show what was happening to the people who got really massively irradiated, but they wouldn't because it was too graphic for TV. Like it was
Yeah.
too upsetting. So, yeah, it just the way it starts off, is like I'll not tell you the exact start because it's kind of spoilery, and I know you don't care, but some people listening or watching might. So I'll tell you a little bit just after. There's this woman, and it like flashes back to like just before the accident happens, and it's like says 2 minutes before the explosion.
Yeah.
And you see this woman in Pripyat waking up like in the middle of the night. She wakes up, she goes to like the toilet, and then she comes back out the toilet, and you see her like yawning and walking to her bed, and you can just see like the nuclear reactor in the background. You can just see it like light up, and there's like no sound because obviously light travels faster than sound. So
Yeah.
for a little bit you don't hear it. You just see this like reactor go like up in the distance, and there's no reaction, and then the sound hits like 2 or 3 seconds later, it just goes like that, and it just fucking shakes everything. It's like shit.
Right.
But it is awesome. It's really cool.
There's
All the
been-
actors, there's characters that look exactly like the real
Yeah.
people portraying, like exactly.
It's been praised quite a bit. I saw a comparison of like actual images from Chernobyl compared to the show, and it looks
Yeah.
it looks identical, doesn't it? Is there anyone famous in it?
The only person that I think I recognise is one of the more major characters. I think is, do you know Bootstrap Bill's dad in Pirates of the
Oh yeah,
Caribbean? The one who's like a part of the crew, part of the ship. That one.
yeah,
Um, I think it's him because he's got like that really raspy voice, and I don't think like I don't know a lot of people that can do that,
yeah.
but he looks quite a bit bigger in this because you know how he's sort of like a thin man in
Mm,
Pirates of the Caribbean. In this, is like quite a bit stocky, but
right.
he might have done that to look more like the character, because more like the actual guy.
Yeah.
Because in real life, that dude is quite like stocky because he's like a high up I want to say like official or politician.
So
So
no one that like you would recognize and it'd take you out because we were saying this yesterday, weren't we? That we're getting
yeah,
sick
no,
of
nothing
famous
like that.
people being put. It seems like a show that I could definitely get on board as like recommending to someone, that I would never watch myself because it's not for me, that sort of thing. I
Yeah,
don't like hate on it by any means. It's actually really cool, but
yeah.
I just
It's
wouldn't I'd be that interested in it.
it would be much too slow for you. Like you wouldn't enjoy it. But there's some awesome bits in it. Like there's the amount that the USSR, like how like you know if even in the Cold War times, you know if there would have been an accident like this in America,
Yeah.
what America would have done is right. We need to show how good we are at sorting this out and like looking after the people that are affected.
Okay.
That's how they sort of that's how they spin it, because even though they'd use it to their advantage still, because it's still sort of war times and they need propaganda and stuff, but they'd spin it in the fact that like, this accident happened, but good old Uncle Sam was there to help and we got our boys sorted out. They do it like that, wouldn't they? That's how they'd
Yeah, but if you
that's that,
actually look at history of America, they do that and make everyone think they've done that, but they don't actually help. They don't actually do anything about it. Because you remember when Hurricane Katrina hit and like
yeah,
destroyed a lot of houses and that, those neighborhoods are still gone. They're still gone. They didn't do anything. They just
yeah,
made everyone think they did,
yeah.
and they didn't.
But
They've not sorted it.
that's what America would do, and probably still would do.
Yeah.
But that would be America's side of it. The USSR side, and I say USSR because it's not like Russia now.
Mm.
I mean, it still kind of is, but it was more commie radicalized back
Yeah.
then, weren't it?
Yeah.
But so the fucking red menace that they are, they weren't like oh, this is how we sort it out. This is how we cover it up. Like nobody has to know that this happened. So but they were like that to such a point where people were literally running out and saying the reactor core has exploded. We need to fucking run now. And the guy who was in charge of it was going, no, it hasn't. No, it's not.
Uh-huh.
The reactor core's not exploded. And people are like, I went to go check on it. I've looked into the open reactor. I'm going to die in 2 days. We need to run. And it's just like, no, you're delusional. And
Mm.
that's what they do. And like obviously they were right. The reason why they thought a reactor core couldn't explode is because they actually did everything that they were told to do right.
Yeah.
Everything they did was correct. But the thing is, in the USSR, what they were doing with to cool down this reactor, they press a button, and basically you press this button, and this is the nope, things are getting too spooky button.
It floods
So you
it, doesn't it?
slap, yeah, and it floods the reactor. So they're slapping the nope, this is getting too spooky button, and what happens is these rods go into the reactor,
Yeah. I did
and
A level physics.
yeah. So you'll be able to explain this better than I do. But these rods go into the reactor, don't they? And are they usually tipped with lead? These rods.
No, the uranium rods.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just essentially strands of uranium
Okay, but the
to
thing
put it
is,
very
at the
simply.
time, yeah, at the time in the USSR, because I can't remember what material they're supposed to be using, but in the USSR, they were using rods tipped with graphite. So what was happening is when these rods went in, instead of decreasing amount of radiation, for a bit, it massively spiked up.
Yeah.
So you can think that I'm doing sort of like a chart thing with my hands right now. People who are listening on the podcast, so the amount of radiation is like slowly going up, and this is sort of like the warning, the danger zone, the highway to the danger zone, and they're pressing the nope button, and instead of these rods going in and then it going like slowly decreasing back down, what's happening is these graphite tipped rods are going in, and it's going like that straight up, because that's like a lot more radiation with all the graphite and shit. So that's what caused the reactor to explode. The thing is, nobody had ever dealt with something like this on Earth. It had never happened, and people didn't think it could happen because people thought that this reactor was up to scratch and built right, and it just wasn't. The USSR built it like that because it was cheaper, and obviously they were in a Cold War against America, so they wanted to crank out more reactors to give the people more power, so they looked like they were winning.
Yeah.
And it, people have said, I think it was, is it not Chekhov? What's it called? Is it Chekhov? What was it called?
I don't know.
President or prime minister, or I can't remember his name, but he said that he thinks Chernobyl is what caused the actual downfall of the USSR, because this happened and people started and obviously because it was a big cover-up, people started trusting the state a lot less, because they're just they care more about having a big dick competition with America than they do about actually helping the people. And the whole thing about communism is that everybody looks out for each other, or what it's supposed to be. It never ends up that way, obviously, but that's the fundamental idea of communism, and the state's not upholding that. The state's going, well, I'm sure we've got a bigger cock than America. So, and that's it. It is awesome. Like, if you didn't have an ADD riddled mind, then obviously I'd recommend you to watch it. But if you can sit through some like quite long dialogue, then you can enjoy it.
Yeah. I think
Cool.
I'd like it more documentary style. I can hold my attention on a documentary way more. As in, I watched that entire 8-part Madeleine McCann documentary. And
Was that one good?
yeah, it's probably my favourite one. I was telling you all about it, weren't I, on stream?
I can't remember.
But the thing is that with this Chernobyl thing, it makes me. It's frustrating because people see something bad happening in relation to something, and then they think that thing is always bad. As in, people are properly turned off from nuclear power now because of a disaster like that. Like, there's been one or two things like that happen, but it's actually really good. Like, it's actually quite sustainable. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's like fairly sustainable and makes a shit ton of power, a lot of power. And people are just worried that that's going to happen, because it would be awful, but it's a hell of a lot less likely to happen than they think.
They are basically making a lot of tiny things explode and then going, "Ooh, give me the power from that explosion." But they are just like forcing shit to explode.
What do you think happens to make a car move?
No, I know.
Everyone has that in front of them all the time, every day, and people aren't scared of that. It's ridiculous. Honestly, I'm not like trying to be a proper advocate for nuclear power.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying it's just fascinatingly ridiculous that that's how the power's made. That we're just harnessing the power of these tiny fucking explosions.
But what I'm trying to get at is it's really annoying how people see one bad thing that happened and then completely disregard anything to do with it. Another one that's really annoying is, I think we can all agree Hitler wasn't a nice person, right? But
eugenics.
Exactly. Not everything that Hitler said was wrong. And just hold on a sec before anyone starts hating me.
Press the button.
No, I don't need to, because that's not a joke. Like, as in, like, he liked good art is one, like, safe example, but what I'm talking about is eugenics, because for people who don't know, eugenics is essentially employing some sort of system to genetically make the human race better. Hitler was a big fan of eugenics, and
Obviously.
also so was the British and the American governments until Hitler was
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, yeah. We
They
we
were
were fans
both
of this
trying to
system as
figure
well.
out plans of employing eugenics, and the only difference is Hitler had a skewed view of what was better genetically. Because he was racist and against Jews and that, and he thought they were genetically inferior, and they're obviously
Yeah.
not.
And
So
obviously he was enforcing his beliefs with like a fucking iron fist,
exactly,
with the Holocaust and everything. So whereas we were probably going to be like, oh, if we steer genetics in this way, this will happen, so we can ensure a healthier child at birth. Whereas Hitler was going, let's do this so we can have what I want, and if people disagree with it, we'll fucking gas them.
yeah, exactly.
That
It's
was the difference.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
And on it, and as soon as Hitler likes something that our governments like, they don't like their jerk reaction, and the jerk reaction of everyone, all people, is, oh, don't like that anymore. Oh yeah, that's bad. That's a bad thing because the bad man likes it. You can be a bad man who likes puppies, and everyone will go, "Oh, puppies are evil.
Yeah.
Hate puppies." It's ridiculous. And because what
Would you
I've
say?
said this
Would you
multiple
say?
times.
Would you say Keanu Reeves evens that out though? Because it's like, well, this bad man likes puppies, but Keanu Reeves likes puppies.
I'm surprised that vegetarians haven't all gone, "Oh, vegetarianism's bad because Hitler liked it." Because
Yeah,
he was a
Hitler
vegetarian.
he was a vegetarian, yeah.
I think that was more of like a health choice. I don't know, whatever. But
No,
what
no, he proper loved animals. Like he banned hunting and everything. He wouldn't have it. He loved animals.
See, what I sort of suggested, and I've thought this since like high school, since I was like 16, which is like 6 years. I've thought that a system like this could potentially work, like a eugenic system, right? That I thought of like maybe a points-based system where if we could test it properly, then you
And,
could be testing.
obviously if they're black, then they lose points.
No, shut up. Oh,
For legal reasons, that's a joke. For legal reasons, that's a joke.
that's literally. He's laughing at it because it's so ridiculous, because it's wrong, because that's what Hitler would say. I feel I have to explain these things. That's why it's a joke,
When you
because it's
explain
so
the
wrong.
joke, it's no longer funny.
Exactly, and you have to do it, because otherwise people get offended and think you actually mean that sort of thing. Don't say the next joke that you're thinking right now. Right, so what I thought, or have thought for ages, is that to employ eugenics well, if you could test for whether or not someone's going to pass on a disease to their offspring, like accurately,
Whether or not somebody's susceptible to carrying mites on them.
like you are. So,
Tell you what,
for example,
if we properly employed eugenics, I would not be fucking born, and that is a good thing.
if you were tested to have that you would definitely pass on, like an autoimmune disease, which meant that
Yeah.
someone would be disabled, like your
So
kid
like
would
sickle,
definitely
like
be,
sickle cell disease.
yeah,
or
just something like that. There would definitely be like, I'm going to be quite specific. So they would definitely be like their legs wouldn't work. That's what would happen. Then you would
their legs don't work no good.
then you would get like a lot of points assigned to your name, and
Yeah.
each couple would have to have under a certain amount of points threshold to essentially be granted a breeding license, essentially.
Yeah.
Now,
Now-
people would just have kids anyway, so it wouldn't affect it
Yeah.
that much. But if it could be employed well, that would, breed
I'm
out
gonna-
diseases, essentially.
I'm gonna apply a much more softer touch to this idea, and basically, if people want, then when they're expecting, basically they just need to ask their local GP or the doctor or something or whatever, can I have a eugenics points card?
Yeah.
And like you say, it applies points and stuff, and all it is just like a little guidance sheet on what to expect. And if you've got so and so and so, then it adds the points on, and then you can act on it accordingly. If that's
But the
if you
thing is with
choose to
that,
do that.
if you were still gonna have a kid and it were gonna have those problems, it's so specific per what they're gonna have, so that it just
Yeah,
wouldn't make sense to have that anyway.
but the thing is, that's people's choice to have, and the second we start taking away people's
Well,
choices
If they
is
were
when it becomes a
expecting, it's
problem.
too late, isn't it? So
Well,
it'd have to be
okay,
if they were thinking
sorry,
about
no,
having a kid.
yeah, sorry, not
Right.
expected.
Well, I don't
Planned
care
for
about
sure.
taking away people's choices. I don't care. It's
Yeah,
not up to
neither
them.
do I. Neither
It-
do I. Get the hand out.
it was no one's choice to give them their genetics. It's just unlucky. It's no one's fault. You can't start blaming people if they don't. You can't. It's not fully up to someone's parents as to whether they should have a kid or not. As in, if a parent would happily, fully knowing that if they have a kid, it's going to have no use of the legs, it's going to essentially be a living hell for that kid forever, right? Like,
Yes.
just in every way. If that kid, did you see that kid that like was allergic to oxygen, and he was just constantly in agonising pain, right?
Honestly.
If a parent knew that that's what would happen to their kid, and they still wanted to have that kid,
You slap.
right?
Yeah.
Then they should be banned from having kids. That's obscene. So that's why I still think it works. So and I would even go as
Well-
far as this, right? This is where it starts sounding a little bit iffy and kind of
Yeah.
bad, right?
Yeah.
You would even get points on your like how healthy you are in general, so how fat you are, right? And now you'd have to scale it, right? Because
But like very, very small amount of points.
yeah,
as
exactly. So
opposed to
if you were kind of fat, you would get way less points added to your name than if you were going to pass on sickle cell anemia, or even if you were going to pass on like an allergy to nuts. An allergy to nuts would give you a lot more points than being a bit fat.
Yeah.
Like by a bit. Obviously, nut allergy is not that bad either. So, but it means that it also encourages a healthier lifestyle. So if you and a partner are going to pass on like a nut allergy and you're both quite overweight, you might just be over the points threshold and not be allowed to breed, right? So if you both drop a bit of weight, you can have a kid.
Yeah.
You've just made yourself healthier.
Well, you can anyway, but it's just because we're thinking that that's so few amount of points that you can still have a kid. It's just recommended that you lose a bit of weight before you do.
Well, if you employed this system and had like a breeding license, then to get your breeding license for that kid, then you would have to drop the weight and get, and have under the points threshold before you could get the license.
In your world of doing this system, on a scale
It does sound
of
like a Black Mirror episode, doesn't it?
yeah. In your idea of like going through this with this system, right? Parliament's okayed it. We've got it in. We've got the system in. You've got whatever funding you need to get this going. On the scale of it's like I said, completely an option. You can choose to have it or choose to completely ignore it. From a scale of that to whilst they're asking for this, there's fucking Hans Gruber and a Ubermensch soldier with a big shotgun, making sure that you ain't got that big of a nose because you might blow your fucking brains out. What level of like?
So you're saying how enforced do you think it
how
should be?
enforced would you do
Well,
this? Yeah.
You just couldn't enforce it that much, could you?
No.
I suppose it'd have to be kind of similar to like age of consent, as in no one fucking pays attention to it, really, do they? But
Yeah.
because you couldn't stop people, because it's biologically already with them. It's not like government hands out penises so that people can have babies.
Well-
I suppose the most strict, and I'm not saying that this is the right way, and I wouldn't want it to be like this, is if someone gets pregnant and they don't have a breeding license, then they'd be forced into an abortion, is what you could do. You shouldn't. That's awful.
No,
that's
I know,
awful to think
but
that, isn't it? But
Yeah, but you're saying that in the sense that that's almost you can almost imagine a country doing that, like a
Yeah,
like a
and
backwards
honestly,
country,
it's not
like South Korea.
that out of the
Not
realms
South
of
Korea, North Korea.
possibility.
Sorry.
Because if because again, it depends on the circumstance. If someone's only just over and they needed to lose some weight and were too lazy to do it, then it's just annoying, but not too much of a big deal because they were nearly there anyway. But if someone was, like I say, going to have a allergic to oxygen type kid, and they had a kid without a license, and you forced them into having an abortion, I still don't care. I would rather someone who knows their kid's going to turn out like that be forced into an abortion and not make a being have to live like that.
Yeah, what would you think about autism then? Like,
Well, that
how?
would be part of it, but again, this is the main problem and why it would never work. This system wouldn't work, and this is the main problem with it. And I talked to Helena about this. You know how fucking useless the government is. So, and everyone has an opinion on what's worse as a disease. So, for example, to me, Alzheimer's and dementia is the worst thing that could ever happen to someone. That to me is the worst thing possible to happen. Like, that's the thing I'm most scared of ever. But someone else might think that
Yeah.
living in a wheelchair your entire life is way worse. So they would scale the points differently based on what's going to be passed on. And that's why it would never work, because everyone would disagree on how heavily things should be scaled.
What if they had a section for mental like problems and physical problems?
Yeah, you would. You would have to, like, Down syndrome would be accounted for.
Yeah, because
and all that sort of thing.
we're thinking like if it all being lumped into one, so like your kid won't have the use of their legs and massive amounts of autism, instead of them both being ranked, say, like 20 points, for the autism one, it'd be like 20 points on mental, mental problems.
No, it wouldn't be in categories. It'd just be overall, and it'd have to be it wouldn't have to. It'd have to be like a real big. There'd be a big database of like what each thing, how many points each thing gives you, and it'd have to like be very specific per thing. So there's different. I think there's a spectrum of Down syndrome, isn't there? I think. So how much Down syndrome you're going to get would also vary in amount of points, and also it'd have to be on the scale of like, if someone's overweight, like by just like a kilogram overweight, and if they dropped a kilogram they would get their license. That much being overweight would be 500 points.
Yeah.
So giving sickle cell anemia would be like 1,000,000 points. It'd have to be that big of a system so you could get really specific.
Yeah, okay. I want to say this really quickly. If somebody can create this sort of list and also think of a situation or a government or an implementation where this would work, I will treat you to a free abortion.
Oh God, I'm gonna play the
for your ugly disabled black kid.
No, Judd, you can't you can't use the fact that I've got some random soundbite to say whatever you want. Because the thing is, I know it's a joke, and the reason it's a joke is because it's obviously so ridiculous that it's funny. But no one understands that nowadays. They think that you actually mean these things. I'm playing it again just in case. Honestly, I can't even keep talking. It's insane. But essentially, why that system definitely wouldn't work, like I say, is because people would weight things wrong. Like they wouldn't be able to come up with a definitive list.
Originally, when I was thinking about just saying that, I was actually going to be like, oh, if somebody actually makes a system like this, I'll treat them to a free meal or something. Like if they live in the UK, I'll like give them something. But then my brain was like, make it racist, make it racist, just to be funny.
One day you are going to regret wanting to be so edgy.
Well, the way I see it is like, I watch like Sleepy Cabin are way worse for what I do, and I guess I love them so much, and I think I love them just because they say what they want, and obviously it's all in joke. So, if it, I've never done like anything. I've had a black boyfriend before. Like, if you want to come up with shit like
People
that,
don't care though.
I've
This is what I'm
slurped
saying.
I've slurped on a black man's fat fucking nuts, and I loved it. So come at me with it.
No, but people don't
Come on
care.
with it.
Just think about Milo Yiannopoulos. Isn't he married to a black guy?
I spilt cider down myself.
But do you know what I mean? In that people
Yeah,
still
he
call
has,
him a neo-Nazi, and he's married to a black guy.
Yeah, I think he has a
It's
black husband.
ridiculous.
I don't know if it's his, I
But
don't know
they
if it's
don't care.
his boyfriend, but
But
it's either his
people,
boyfriend or his husband.
but it don't matter because what I'm saying is people don't care.
Yeah, all those people are fucking stupid, aren't they? Like,
But they still affect things. You can't just say, oh well, they're stupid then. Well, they're still there. They're still doing still making noise.
yeah, Jake, they're still there, but with our system, they won't
They
be
get
anymore.
bred out. Someone
Yeah,
when I
they
was
get
talking to
bred
someone about this system, right? They
Yeah.
said, well, would it account for how well you do in school
No,
and your
No, I don't-
intelligence
I don't
and that?
think it
Because
would, no.
if you're trying to essentially better the human race through selective breeding, essentially is what it is, then surely if someone's really just thick, you don't want them to breed as much. And what I said to that was, well, yeah, I would probably just say straight up, no, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And the main reason is because the school system's so fucking flawed anyway. It doesn't test how intelligent someone is.
I know
anyway,
so many parents who are quite smart and their kids are quite thick. Like, look at Dad. Dad's quite a bit smart, isn't he? And then look at me.
I don't know.
Like, but then I know people.
To be honest,
I know
without sounding
people-
arrogant, I think like if you look at the males in our family, which you can only look at me, you, and Dad, really.
Yeah.
I think I am the most intelligent out of those three, then Dad, then you. So your argument don't really count because I think I'm smarter than him, but you're not as smart. So
I don't think actual smarts are that genetic. Then certain genetics,
They
have
are.
a say in it, but I don't think they are.
it's both. It's a mix.
But I think it's more nurture than nature. Do you know what I mean?
Well, maybe.
Even if it's just like a little bit, but
again, it'd have to mean that so many systems were so definitely good before you even implement it into this eugenics one.
The systems have to be so perfect and so right, and we obviously know that our government is not capable of that.
Oh
So
God, it would just. I was telling you, weren't I, that I saw Dave from Boy in a Band took the UK citizenship test, like not the proper one, but like there's like a revision version.
He's the one who has like the sort of red and the black on both sides.
Yeah.
Where he's,
And
okay, yeah.
it he got like all of it wrong. Oh shit! I've accidentally just started it. Shall we go through and try and do this? Shall we see how many we can answer?
Wait. Oh well, the UK. Have you got it up?
Yeah, I've just brought it up. Well, you can get like mock
send me a link.
versions.
Send me a link.
I'll just read them out to you, and I'll screencast to you.
Alright, go on then.
I'll just read it out because I need to read it out for the podcast anyway. So this question says, as a British citizen, what are your responsibilities? Choose two answers. To respect and obey the law, to walk your dog only during the day, to go to church on Sunday, to look after yourself and your family.
That's it.
Those are the options.
That's it.
You've got to pick two.
That's
not the only question.
Wait. I've got 4 answers of what I should base my entire British life off of.
No,
and one
Judd,
of them,
this isn't the only question on the test.
I'm just saying for this one thing. Out of multiple answers, I've got 4 things that I have to base that off of.
Yeah, what are your responsibilities?
As that.
I think we go with to respect and obey the law.
I'm gonna make sure
and
my
to look
dog's
after yourself and family. I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah,
correct. Yeah.
Play the whistle.
England.
EDL.
Right, next. Who made the first coins in Britain?
Are we going back to it? How far back are we saying Britain
The
is?
first ever ones! The first ever coins! Why is that relevant? Who cares?
Wait, no. How far back are we saying Britain is? Are we going back to like when the Romans conquered it and it's called like Great Britannia?
Well, they moved in from Europe, didn't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, then
When it was just settled by fucking
the
cavemen
look.
or-
Here's the options: people of the Stone Age, Anglo-Saxons, people of the Iron Age, the Romans. It's not the Stone Age because they didn't have coins then.
I'd argue. You know when you say coin, are we saying that
it
that's at
says
least metallic?
who made the first coins to be minted in Britain? That's exactly what it says.
Minted. Just define minted. Like minted
I don't
a coin
know.
for me.
I can't. We're taking the test. This is what the foreigners have to do.
For fuck's sake.
I'm gonna go
Roman?
with
I'd
the
say Roman.
Anglo-Saxons.
I'd say Romans.
It was
but
the people of the Iron Age. Pff. But this is why it's gone a bit viral lately, because the British citizenship test is essentially a bunch of history trivia that just doesn't matter with being a citizen. And
that doesn't matter.
loads of British people have been taking it and failing it. Who built the Tower of London?
The Queen with her own hands.
The answers
with
are...
her own hands. She's very strong.
These are the choices. William the Conqueror, Queen Victoria, Queen Elizabeth I, or Oliver Cromwell.
Queen Victoria.
I reckon it were earlier than that. It was William the Conqueror.
It was William the Conqueror. I thought
Yeah.
it was. Did she just implement it more? I think she used it a lot. Queen Victoria. I think she just, like,
Right, next question.
just really
There are
likes it.
15 national parks in England, Wales, and Scotland. What are national parks?
What the fuck are you on about?
Giant greenhouses, land formations of columns made from volcanic lava, areas
In
protected,
Britain,
areas of protected countryside, medieval buildings.
areas of protected countryside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty obvious.
know that
I
one.
think. Right, watch this.
Laugh.
Listen to this one. Northern Ireland has its own established church. True or false? Who gives a shit?
No, yeah, it's called the Church of Ireland, I think.
False. There are no established church in Wales or Northern Ireland. It's just Church of England, and they're
gonna
mostly
give me-
Catholics in Ireland.
You're gonna
anyway,
give me a
aren't
fucking nosebleed with this, honestly. I'm
they? Which
questioning my
three
own reality.
territories form Great Britain? These are answers:
I
Wales,
thought there was
Northern
four.
Ireland, England, and Scotland.
Wait, that's 4.
Yeah, those are the choices. But
I thought you
but it
used-
says there's only 3. It says which 3, but it gives you 4 choices.
But there's 4.
Judd, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're
This-
so
this
thick. This is
England,
why you don't pass tests or
Scotland,
anything. Listen to what I'm
Northern
going to
Ireland,
say to you,
Wales.
right? Just hold on a second.
Yeah.
Which 3 territories form Great Britain, right?
Okay.
That's the question. So you need to give 3 answers, yeah? Right?
Okay.
But it's giving you 4 to choose from. So obviously one of them's wrong. Yeah? Is
Okay.
that are you understanding
okay, no,
that now?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. Great. Wales, Northern Ireland, England, and Scotland. To be fair, I kind of know where you're coming from, because I also think there's 4 territories in
Yeah,
Britain.
but
'Cause
is
it's
it not- is it
England,
not-
Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Because I know Southern Ireland isn't
Yeah,
part
yeah,
of Great Britain
I
anymore,
know,
but
that's
Northern
what I'm
Ireland's
saying.
technically a separate country, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's confusing me, because I think the Great Britain's comprised of England, Northern Ireland, Wales, and Scotland.
I'm going to go with England, Wales, and Scotland. Yeah,
No,
for some reason it's saying Northern Ireland isn't part of Great Britain, but I'm pretty
But it
sure
is.
it is.
it is.
Yeah. I think it is as
I would
well.
argue from that the right answers would be Northern Ireland, England, and Wales, because Scotland have got their own shit going on. Really, aren't they? They're not
Well,
truly
really,
part
I
of Great Britain.
suppose Wales and Scotland, no, they are truly part of Great Britain.
Are they?
They had a
I always-
referendum
okay.
to vote as to whether they wanted to be independent, and they voted to stay. But
Okay.
at least Northern Ireland isn't attached to mainland Britain. Maybe that's what they mean. Because Wales, Scotland, and England all share borders, whereas
That's
Northern
worded
Ireland
like,
has a.
that is worded
It's
like
just,
shit.
it's just wrong, really.
Yeah, it
Right,
is,
here's
yeah.
the next one. How often are Prime Minister's questions held in Parliament? Right? This is the first
Okay.
question. It's taken 7 questions that might be relevant to a citizen. It's never been relevant to me so far, but I can see how it could potentially be relevant to like someone who's foreign who wants to come into our country.
That could be relevant, and I've not got a fucking clue.
Oh, I've no idea either. I would say not very often. Maybe one. The options are every day, every week, every 2 weeks, or once a month. And
I
I
don't
would
know.
say once a month. I
How
wouldn't say
much?
it'd be.
How much to Parliament like the Prime Minister? You know, if Theresa May comes up and she's like, "We need more primary schools," then they're probably
She's
just gonna
quit.
like,
Did you see
"All
her?
right,
Did you
all
see her
right,
video?
love."
Did you see the video of her
I didn't
quitting?
see the video, but I know
It's
that she's
pathetic.
resigning.
Um,
She,
I went with once a month. Apparently, it's every week. Who knows?
the video is just her going, "I tried so hard and I got so far, but in the end, it doesn't really matter."
That is kind of what it was like, actually.
Yeah.
It's it's pathetic. She's been a terrible prime minister.
Didn't she say something about like paedophiles should be able to adopt? Am I wrong with that?
No.
Or...
No, but there was, while she were in power, there was like a debate about paedophiles or something. But she's just been anyway. Which king was executed in 1649?
Who?
Who cares? Here's
what
the
are
options:
choices?
James
Yeah.
I, Charles II, James the Seventh, Charles the First.
Charles II.
It was Charles the First.
Oh, was it?
But
wait,
who
which
cares
one-
anyway? Why do
which is
foreigners
the-
need to know that?
Which is the one that really liked partying? Is that Charles II? Is that the one that the Horrible Histories song is by?
It's you can't. It's
Chicka
not.
chicka Charles II. I love the people and the people love me. Set out to restore the British monarchy. Is it that one?
No. Okay. Next we've got where was Shakespeare born? The options are Manchester, Oldham, Stratford-upon-Avon, or Lincolnshire. It was Stratford-upon-Avon. I know that because it's taught in schools, but why the hell do citizens need to know that? I wish I didn't know
I
that.
can't
'Cause who
fucking
cares?
remember that.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't. Even if you study Shakespeare because you're a writer, it doesn't matter where he was born.
I can't really remember much Shakespeare. I remember a bit of Shakespeare. I'm really good at reading Shakespeare. You know how like in high school, some people like read Shakespeare and they'll be like, "Well, I don't know what he said about because he's using a bunch of like weird words and stuff."
Most of the time in
Those
school,
people are retarded.
Most of the time, people in school just said that because they couldn't be asked and they wanted
But
to hate
could
me.
you get it? Could you have like one read through of Shakespeare and go, "Yeah, I get it somewhere."
Yeah, I could get the idea. I still thought it were crap because why didn't he just talk in regular speak? But
I remember, I remember us doing one piece that he did in high school, and it was about the marching of time and the inevitability of like growing old and like eventually dying, and how some people accept it and they go, "Well, I know I can't escape this, so I'm going to embrace it." And we read through something and everybody's like, I don't get it. It's like he's saying a lot. He's talking about a horse in one bit, and I'm like, he's talking about time, and like the teacher's just like, oh, yeah, he is. How'd you know that? And I'm like, because I fucking read it. It says there.
yeah, I was here.
Yeah, I read it. He's like talking about how it marches on, and you can't avoid it. It's time. Like,
Yeah, I don't like Shakespeare that much as well because it's like I don't want to have to think about like what he might be saying. I'd rather just hear him say it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like he said it in a way, and it's the same reason I don't like all these like metaphorical lyrics in songs where like, oh,
Yeah.
I think the artist is trying to say this. Oh, no. Just tell me what you're trying to say.
yeah.
So anyway, let's have more of these citizenship questions. Here's an easy one for you, Judd. Which two of the following are famous British Paralympians? Dame Kelly Holmes, Baroness Tanny Gray Thompson, J. Torville, Ellie Simmons.
I actually don't know.
That it was a joke. That I have no fucking clue. Dame Kelly Holmes rings a bell. So that's probably one of us.
Alice what's her face sounds like she could be British.
I didn't say Alice at all.
Did you not? I thought you said
No,
Alice.
these are the options: Dame Kelly Holmes, Baroness Tanny Gray Thompson, Jane Torville, Ellie Simmons. I didn't say anything like Alice.
Okay. Did you say Ellie?
Ellie Simmons, right? Yeah. Let's
Ellie.
go. Oh,
Yeah. Okay.
well, Ellie Simmons was right, but Dame Kelly Holmes wasn't. It was Baroness Tanny Gray Thompson.
I was gonna
Have
say
you
him.
ever
I was gonna
heard
say him.
a more British name than that? That's
Apart
Right,
from
next.
Ahmed.
I mean, probably.
Yeah.
Who was reigning in England when English settlers first began to colonize the eastern coast of America? I think it was Victoria or Elizabeth I. It was it was definitely a queen.
Is Eastern Coast sort of like
It's New York.
Wales?
Essentially, who was reigning in England when England settled in America? I'm going with Queen Victoria. It was Elizabeth I. Who even cares? Scotland and Wales use a system called individual registration, where all those entitled to vote must complete their own registration form.
Okay.
I would have thought so. We have to do that. Oh no, false. Never mind.
What?
Well, it says
do we
Northern
not?
Ireland does that. No, it said Scotland and Wales. We're England.
I thought they would, because they're all part of the
thought they
Great
would as
British.
well, but never mind. Apparently they
Okay.
don't. On what day is the birth of Jesus Christ celebrated?
25th of December. I know that one because I'm a minister. Wink.
That's not one of the options. No, it's because it says Father's Day, Christmas Day, New Year, and Boxing Day.
Oh, well, there you go. It's
Christmas.
Christmas Day then. Yeah.
But even that, who cares?
Easter is the
It's
rebirth
nothing
of
to
Jesus
do-
Christ, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's like him being reborn. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I always get it. I always get mixed up.
But thing is, who cares though? It's like why
Well,
does new citizens need to know that?
Well, I don't know. I guess if you moved over to like India, it'd be like what's the most celebrated religion in India? Is it Buddhism or is it like
Hindu.
Muslim or Hindu? Well, when did what's her face the many armed one? Is it Gishnu? Vishnu?
It don't matter, does it?
When did Vishnu first grow a third arm? First egg.
It just don't matter. What sort of battle was the Battle of Britain fought between Germany and Britain in the summer of 1940?
I tell you what kind of battle. A right fucking battle. That's what it was. A right scrap.
Was it a battle in the sea, an aerial battle, a battle in the mountains, a battle without rifles?
It was a battle with. Against Germany.
Battle of Britain between Germany and Britain and Germany. Battle of Britain.
That
Was it
was
sea?
a battle in the mountains.
No, it wasn't. It was an aerial
What was
battle.
it? Was it?
Again,
Wait,
who cares?
wait, is that World War II? Is that what they're talking
Yeah.
about? Oh, right, okay.
Where is Swansea?
I should have fucking know. Over there.
It's in Wales.
Around that way
But
somewhere.
even again, I guess that could be useful. But why is it
Jake.
on the citizenship test?
Do you know, Jake? Do you know where Swansea is? Do you know where Swansea is?
Oh, shut up.
In here.
Shut
In
up.
here.
No,
It's in
that's
here.
where all your
That's where
Sandscripts are, or whatever they're called. I forgot the name of them now.
Scabies.
Scabies.
Jesus Christ.
Sanskrit.
That's where all my Egyptians are.
Which two political parties formed a coalition in 2010? See,
Labour and Conservative?
this is pretty useful
I don't-
because it's to do with the government. So this is all right. The answers are Conservative, Green, Labour, and Liberal Democrats.
I think Conservative and Labour, but I don't know.
It wasn't.
And I don't
You're
care.
an idiot. It was Conservative and Lib Dems. It was when David Cameron got in.
I don't know.
But again, it just doesn't really matter. It's in the past. Who established the Church of England? Who cares? I think it's Oliver.
What's his
I think
face?
it's Cromwell. No, it's Henry
It's
the
not
Eighth.
Cromwell. I was just going to say, it was like a king, not a prime minister.
It doesn't matter. This is my point. Right, we found
Really
another one.
done.
In 1348, 1/3 of the population in England, Wales, and Scotland died as a result of which disease?
The plague.
It's the Black Death.
Yeah, the plague.
Haggis is the traditional food from which area?
I thought you said Hagrid. After I said the plague, you just went Hagrid.
Oh, right. This is the first one that I would say is definitely something.
I didn't hear what you said. Haggis is the national food of.
Oh, Scotland. I just put.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, this question, right, is the first one that I would want someone to be asked for a citizenship test. Which court deals with minor criminal offences in Scotland? That's a good question.
what are the answers?
The options are the Sheriff Court, the Magistrates Court, the Crown Court, the Justice of the Peace Court. I think it's the Magistrates Court.
I think magistrate's bigger stuff, isn't it?
No, the Crown Court's the bigger one.
Is it? Okay, well,
Yeah.
I guess magistrate then.
Oh, it's the Justice of the Peace Court.
I think I'm pretty sure
think that's 'cause it's-
magistrates are like.
I think because that's in Scotland, though. I think it's a bit different.
I think here is the Crown where we deal with bigger stuff. Because the Crown is meant to be, it's meant to represent like the Queen's justice. So
Yeah, that's where like terrorists would go on that.
yeah, that's like treason and shit. Yeah.
But I mean, I don't even know the answer to that, but I probably should, and also I would want someone coming into our country to know that. Or literally all the other ones, I'm just not that bothered about. Like 90% of those other ones, just why are they even in there? And then there was
to be
two other
honest-
ones that maybe are useful.
To be honest, I only want that foreigner to know about where like we deal with punishment if he thinks about committing any crimes, and if he don't, then don't worry about it. Like
No, because you want them to know how crimes dealt with in case they're involved in it. I suppose if someone like burgles them is what I mean. Because you want them to be able to like report it to the police so that we can catch burglars. Is why.
Yeah, I thought you meant if they were committing it, because it's just like, well, ideally, they shouldn't. So-
No, as in
No,
because if they don't know
they
where
get
to
robbed,
send
they
like
don't know where to
where
turn
to
to do
report
it.
crimes, we're less likely to catch criminals. So it's
yeah,
right. Okay, next one. Which two of the following records give us information about England during the reign of William I? I think it's
Say again, William the what? You cut out Conqueror.
William I.
Okay.
The Magna Carta, the Doomsday Book, the Bayeux Tapestry, and the Canterbury Tales. I think it's the Magna Carta and the Bayeux Tapestry.
I think it's the Bayeux Tapestry. Yeah. What is it? Two.
Yeah, it says two.
The Bayeux Tapestry and the Tales.
I think it's the Magna
Canterbury.
Carta. It's the Doomsday Book and the Tapestry. I knew it was the Tapestry, but
I have
didn't know
never even heard of the Doomsday Book.
Same. Oh no, it's not Doomsday. It's
Domesday.
Yeah,
Okay.
Doomsday Book.
I'm
Another useless
did
bullshit
DC
question.
Did DC write this one?
Right, in 1913, the British government promised Home Rule for Ireland. Why were any changes in Ireland delayed till 1921?
Because they started fucking firebombing everything.
No, none of that is an option. Due to the outbreak of the First World War, due to the outbreak of the Second World War, because there was not a king on the British throne, due to the outbreak of the Black Death. I would say it's got to be the First World War.
Yeah, sure, whatever, second or whatever.
It is the First World War.
Right.
Which of the following statements is true? Elizabeth I was a Protestant, and she succeeded in finding a balance between the views of Catholics and the more extreme Protestants. Elizabeth I was a
Elizabeth the First.
Yeah, or is it the
Okay.
other way around? Was she a Catholic and blah blah blah? Was she a Catholic or a Protestant, essentially? Don't care, pricking Protestant.
I think she was
it
a
doesn't matter.
Protestant.
That's correct, but why the
Yeah.
fuck does a foreigner need to know that? Right, which two documents do you need to apply for a national insurance number? Right, so out of this
Okay,
entire 24-question test, there's been two good questions.
Yeah.
A document with your address on it, such as a tenancy agreement, documents that prove you have permission to work in the UK, a contract from your employer, documents that prove your identity. You need your identity.
Yeah, and
then I think it's national insurance is to do with work, isn't it? So I would have
Yeah.
thought permission to work in the UK.
yeah.
But thing is, if you're already a UK citizen, you don't need that.
It doesn't. I know
Because
it's.
we didn't need that to apply. So I'm guessing are they
Yeah.
talking for immigrants?
Yeah. For immigrants, because if we just take white British resident, then
Did we need to submit a document with our address on it? I don't.
no,
think
because
so.
I move all the time, don't I? So
Yeah,
like I'd be
it's
changing it constantly.
It's prove
and-
your identity and permission to work.
Yeah.
Finish quiz. Should we see if we can be a British citizen, Judd? Should we see it? Are you ready?
I don't fucking
Are you ready
think we
to
can.
find out?
Go on.
You failed the test! We did it, guys! We're not getting into the country. We only got 50% of the questions right.
Really got 50%
Woohoo!
right.
50%. We
Jesus.
failed the test. We're not going to be citizens.
Well, I guess I'll ring up Queen Elizabeth now. I'll just tell her. Where's my
Just
phone?
tell her that we need to move out of the country.
Yeah. Wait, hold on.
Oh, dear.
Let me get Lizzie on the horn. Hold on. Yo, Lizzie, I failed the test. Don't tell Hans, please.
Right. Well, that's a podcast. Yeah. Chernobyl, eugenics, and we're no longer British citizens.
Nope, we've been deported.
Right. Like and subscribe. Watch on Jacob Fox 2. Follow on twitch.tv/gamesbadly. Check out links in everywhere. There's on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, and donate and everything and all of it. All of that. Give me money. Just send me cash in the mail.
Yes, please.
Okay, right. Bye.